Hey everyone, it's Josh. I just want to take a quick second to say if you're enjoying the podcast, please like, subscribe, rate, or comment. All of those things help out tremendously. It helps me get better sponsorships, helps me get better guests. I'm able to take this on the road, more consistent video, so many different things. It's all free. So please take a second to help support me by liking, subscribing, commenting, or rating. Also, if you want, there's a donation button. I don't expect anything, but even like 99 cents, there's a couple different options a month. Helps so much. Thank you and enjoy the episode. Hey, welcome back into the podcast, episode 6. Today we have Theresa Green calling in from Florida. Theresa is a singer-songwriter who moved to Florida to pursue her dream of music. You can really hear the passion she has for songwriting and music. We picked the 7 albums that define us. And she also opens up about dealing with anxiety and depression and her overcoming eating disorders. Through it all, she's come out on top with such a great outlook on life and the want to help others and be a better person. So enjoy the conversation, and I'll see you guys after the episode.
Welcome to the Just Josh podcast.
Who the fuck is this guy? Hey, who the fuck are you? Huh? Who the fuck are you? This whole thing's a little weird.
Never you fear, laddie buck.
Welcome into the podcast. Today we have Theresa Green on the phone. How's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
Doing very well.
I'm really excited to be a part of this. I'm glad that you reached out to ask me to join.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much. And when we were talking about you coming on and coming up with different segments or things we could talk about, I think one thing that I came across was this article about picking 7 albums that define you. So since you're the guest, why don't you start off and then I'll go through mine. But really quickly, before you start, I had trouble because I wasn't sure, should I pick something that's nostalgia, what means the most, what impacted me the most, but it is what defines you, and what defined me was that time and period when I was most influenced by music. So a lot of these albums are kind of from the same area to a degree, and then I have a couple bands that are newer, but why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, figuring out which ones are the ones that you choose, like do you choose ones from the past or ones that you're listening to now? I did a little bit of everything. So the first one I have on my list is Ever After by Mariana Trench. It's one of I just happened to come across them. They're a Canadian band.
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about this album and their music in general is that each song transitions into the next one. So as you're finishing one song, all of a sudden you're jumping into the next one. It's like creating this whole entire story throughout the whole entire piece. And another thing I like about this band is that their harmonies. They're just tight harmonies, and it just, for me, like, you get that rush, that good feeling kind of thing.
Yeah.
I get that every time I listen to them. They even just recently released an album back in 2019, and then I think even a single earlier in the year, this year in January, actually. But yeah, they've been a band that I've been listening to since back in high school. But yeah, that's the first one I have on my list. Another one is Breaking Benjamin's Dear Agony.
Oh, that's a good one. And just to your first album, I love a good harmony. But sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No. I mean, I agree with you. You have the talent for playing instruments, and I wish I had that. I mean,
well, let's write some stuff, man.
Course,
let's get some stuff out there. Especially if you come up here, I have everything to record.
I know, yeah. I know. We keep telling ourselves, like, let's go visit, and then always something.
Well, I have plenty of time. I'm always down. It's just hard for me to leave the dogs and all that, and I've been traveling much, so I'm trying to stay at home as much. But if anyone ever wants to come visit me, I will put you up. I will pay for food. You really just have to get here. If you can get here, I got everything else. So your second album,
Breaking Benjamin, Dear Agony.
Yes, and they're a great band too.
They are such a good band. I mean, any of the songs that you hear from them are just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I think I picked this one, though, out of all that they have, just because I feel like all the pieces on there, I mean, during when you're in your teens, you always go through all those struggle times, all that jazz. And there were just a lot of songs that I could really connect to, like, Dear Agony itself, and what's the other ones that are on there? Well, let's see here. I wanted to see if I could pull it up. There we go. I Will Not Bow is a great one. Give Me a Sign. So just all the ones that are on there, they're just ones that you can really, like, you could close your eyes. You can be like, yes, I can relate to this one way or another. And the music itself is just, if you haven't caught on already, like, I love how music sounds. Like, music is such an emotion and an expression for me. So every album that I listen to mostly has that.
Yeah.
And this album especially has a lot of that with all of their songs.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, definitely. But moving down the list, my third one I have is Evolve from Imagine Dragons. So I've always liked Imagine Dragons since they first came out. And what I like about them as a band is that, their songs are all about inspiration, and no matter what you're going through or what they are going through, they always find a way to push and pursue and get through it all. So it's always about fighting and being strong and getting out there. And that's something I always try to tell myself is no matter what you're going through, you always just got to continue to push and continue to reach for your goals.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, this one especially has a lot of those ones as well, like Believer. Thunder is another one that's really fun to listen to. But yeah, so Imagine Dragons is another one that's on my list. And then the fourth one I have is the Greatest Showman soundtrack.
Oh, okay. With what's his name? Why can't I think of his name?
Hugh Jackman.
Yes,
and,
that's what I mean.
Yes.
Hugh Jackman. Yep.
Yep. Yeah. So
that was a great movie.
I'm a big fan. It's a great movie. Yes, it is. Yes. But I'm a big fan of musicals.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, when it came out, like, I almost cried watching it, to be honest, because I was like, oh my gosh, it's so good. The music in general is it's so powerful. I like one of my favorite ones from The Greatest Showman is Tightrope, because, it's questioning, like, should I continue to walk down this road with you, or if I take a step off, like, what's going to happen, kind of thing. And another one, of course, the introduction, Greatest Showman, is always, that one's a great one. A Million Dreams, and then the one with Zac Efron and Hugh Jackman singing together. That's definitely one of my favorites. I love watching that scene over and over again. I try to reenact the dances every time, even though I can't dance.
I can't dance either.
No, I wish.
Like that, at least, I would break my ankle just doing a move. Like, just even trying to just, like, step to the side. I'd probably just fall over.
Do a side step, sprain your ankle. Let's not let that happen.
Yeah, hopefully not.
No, we don't want that. Let's see. So that was number 4. My fifth one was Cosmic by Bazzi.
By Fozzy?
Bazzi. I always say, I swear I'll say his name wrong. Bazzi. Bazzi. He has
like Fozzie the Bear?
not Fuzzy, yeah.
No, Fozzie.
Fuzzy the Bear,
Muppet.
right? From the Muppets, yeah. He's a newer artist, so he's one that I've been listening to more recently. I think he started putting music out back in, 2016 or so. This album came out 2 years ago. And what I like about this album, all this, how every artist is, most of the music is always about themselves and the stories that they go through.
Mm-hmm.
So the favorite ones that I have on here are Quarter After 3. So, he's just thinking about someone. How does it go? Girl, you'll be by my side. Forget the mother. I will put him to the side. So just, saying it's late at night, but I'm always thinking about you. And then the other one is Myself. The lyrics for that one, I think I lose in my mind, trying to stay inside the line. So it's just pretty much saying that it's better for him to just be by himself. So I just love how catchy his beats are, and this is one of those albums that I could just listen to on repeat over and over again.
Yeah, that's cool. And it's nice doing this because then I can, I'm old, so I can look into other music I've never heard of. So I'm definitely going to check it out.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely give him a listen. He's on my one of my favorites lists right now. The next one I have is Halsey. She recently released an album, Maniac.
So I've heard
Manic,
of her.
sorry. Manic. Oh yeah. She's
like I hear people, and I do follow popular music in the sense of like the stuff that they, you can't help but see because it's all over the place. But I just, for some reason, like radio is not as big to me. And when I listen to radio in the car, it's usually sports talk, not music. If I'm playing music, it's usually on my phone or something like that.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, with like different social media apps and
you'll be able to tell by my albums like where I'm stuck at, because a lot of them kind of are from one time period and not like more recent stuff.
I mean, yeah, I tried to keep it, like try to expand it just a little bit. I'm sure like I probably would have picked things from like way back in 2010, 2016, just getting out of high school and going through college.
You're so young.
But yeah, no, but this a lot of Halsey's music is about her personal journeys. And if you didn't know, Halsey it's not actually her real name. Her real name's Ashley.
So I figured that wasn't her real name. At the same time, I would not be surprised if it was, just because a lot of names these days are very different, depending.
Artists have such unique names, I swear.
Like, to me, Halsey, that's normal. That's like a normal name now, just because there's so many crazy ones. Or not crazy, but just different. It's not like John,
unique,
Mike, or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually you can only call people the same thing so often, so I'm kind of glad that there's some variety.
Definitely, I agree. Let's see. So my favorite song on this one is probably, well, Ashley's a really good one on here. And then she has her song Without Me on here again. Another one of her albums, actually.
Now you're double dipping.
Yeah, I'm double dipping.
Double dipping, that's cool.
But another album that she has that I really like. Let me find it here real fast. Searching it on.
While you're looking for it, something you mentioned before about the musicals, like liking musicals.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Not just teaching me music and stuff like that. My parents, we used to go see Broadway's in New York because my grandmother lived up there.
Oh, how fun.
My dad's from New York.
That's on my bucket list.
Yeah, so I got to see like Jesus Christ Superstar and like Guys and Dolls and
that's a good one. Guys and Dolls is really
good. Les Mis, all those like at a very young age.
Les Mis.
That was really cool.
Yes.
I think Guys and Dolls was my favorite. I like the songs in them.
It's like, it's rom-com, romantic comedy.
Well,
yes.
I didn't know. I was too young to know what it was about. So for me, it was like listening to the melodies and the songs and then seeing the different costumes and stuff like that, I guess.
That's
I mean,
my
I
favorite
couldn't have been more than 8 years old or something like that, maybe.
Well, yeah. Going through high school, I was in a lot of plays and musicals, and that was my favorite thing. Was the acting, of course, but also getting to put on different outfits and going through different years. We did what was it? Thoroughly Modern Millie, and that was during like the 1920s. So we had these fun flapper dresses. We got to do crazy hairstyles. It was like super poofy hair. Which is crazy for me because like my hair doesn't hold a curl. It's so fine. If you remember, like my hair is just so flat. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't style. So I was very surprised that they were able
hair,
to.
So that's even worse.
The other song by Halsey that I was looking up, it's called Alone. It's on her Hopeless Foundation Kingdom album. That song specifically, I feel like is one that I can relate to. At first, when you sent this list, I was like, yeah, I can pick a bunch of songs. And I was like, oh, wait, this is albums. This is completely different. All right.
And
Let's
this is
do a
back
little
when
bit.
they actually had albums and like whole albums were themes to a degree. Not all of them, but you know what I mean? Like, so you can
Mhm.
almost define yourself by these different things. And it's like time period too. Some of these I put because it's like I remember that specific time in my life.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah. Like, what does this song do for this year specifically?
Yeah. What album are we on? 5?
That was the sixth one.
Oh,
So the
Halsey.
last one. Yeah,
Yeah,
Halsey was
sure.
my sixth. And then the last one, this is another one that I recently got into. It's by Labyrinth, Sia, and Diplo, and the
Mm.
album is called LSD. Um, and
I
it's
don't know why
just
that's funny, but it is.
no,
Um,
it really is. I was trying not to laugh. I'm not gonna lie,
uh,
but no, it sounded like when they put this album together, they had so much fun with it too. The first song is all an introduction, like welcome to the world of, Labyrinth, Sia, and Diplo. And then, um, I don't know, just each song is just so fun. I could listen to this on repeat constantly. In fact, after putting my list together, I listened to this album. I was
oh,
like, I
that's
got
cool.
to.
Okay, I'll just go down the list I have. The first one's Green Day Dookie. That one's huge for me. I think I had that and like Live Throwing Copper. The farthest back I can remember, I had those on tape, which obviously are obsolete
Like
anymore.
tape cassette tape.
Yeah, I had
Oh
Green Day
my gosh.
Dookie, and I used to have to like rewind it and stuff, and then flip it over when I wanted to listen to the other side.
Side A, side B, and everything.
And me saying that on this
Mhm.
podcast, knowing that people listening, especially younger kids, even if you're like 5 or 6 years younger than me, it's almost like you're like, what? Like, you know what a tape is, but you probably already had CDs and stuff by the time you were at that age of listening to music and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But yeah, so Green Day was one of the first ones. I remember having that when I was pretty young. I was like 10, I guess.
they're a
Um,
good band. They were
10,
when
11.
I first started listening to music, like actually like listening. They were one of the first artists that I caught on to, actually.
Yes. I love I just remember I was a visual person, so MTV always having like
Mm-hmm.
when I come around and Basket Case, it was all those like bright and he had
Yeah,
the orange and the hair. Yeah. So I always loved that. When I come around to me is still one of the best like riffs, the intro riffs. My second album is 311, the Blue album with Down and everything on it. I remember wearing that out in my CD player I had, my little CD boombox player. I think it was a Sony. So my next one's more recent. It's not recent in this thing, but it's a newer band in the sense of a lot of these are kind of old school.
Mm-hmm.
A Day to Remember, Homesick. That was
Oh, a
really,
day to remember. Yes,
yeah. They're one of my favorite bands currently that I listen
they.
to, just because to me they're like
Mm-hmm.
a heavier Blink 182, and I've always loved Blink. So yeah, and Homesick with it's just a great album. It's the first one I heard it from them, but then I went back and listened to older albums, and that really got me into them. And I still love their new stuff. That's even though it's more commercial, it still has. They found a really good
Mm-hmm.
balance of all that, and I think that's what every band strives to do is find that balance of what people like about
Yeah,
them. You
still
know.
have like their old sound, but incorporate it with the newer.
Okay, so the next one I have here is Coheed and Cambria in Keeping Secrets of Silent
Um,
Earth. Their drummers, I mean, I love No Doubt's drummer. I love Travis Barker growing up, but also Coheed's drummer is what really got me into drumming because he's left-handed. So I just love how he's always playing open hand and he's going like the opposite. And I always try and, like in soccer and stuff, I was pretty good with both feet. In fact, I was probably better in my left foot in some instances, even though I'm
hmm
right-footed and right-handed. But on
Okay,
drumming, I'm not. So I was trying to get better.
that's me in the guitar. I play
Yeah.
left-handed for the guitar.
Oh, that's cool. I always love
Yeah,
that. Yeah. So yeah,
first one. Yeah, the
Coheed,
first time I ever picked one up, it was just to
yeah.
the right.
Coheed is yeah, one of my favorite bands and they're so good. And that album
They have
especially
the
was
like the comics and everything too,
yes.
don't they?
Yes. So for
Yeah.
2 albums, they kind of went away from that because I don't know if it was like pressure from their label or other stuff like that, but they kind of just put out a non-themed albums and they were good. I love
Mhm.
Coheed, but they were not this. They finally went back to that theme and they continued the story in the last one and I dare to say their best album to date, but it really is. Like it's so well thought out, and yeah, the comics. He's a genius. It's just hard to
Yeah.
argue with them being there. And it's funny, my friend in college, that lived down the hall, would always blast him. I heard his voice. I'm like, man, it sounds like I was like, what chick is that? He's like, dude, that's a dude. I'm like, oh. And then I listened to it more. I'm like, oh, okay, I can hear it. So the fifth one is Newfound Glory, Sticks and Stones, continuing with like the punk
yeah,
theme. So I
Newfound
got,
Glory is good too.
yeah, and just
Good artists and good albums.
no, but I just love them. They're my favorite band, and they do some of the best covers ever. I love all their cover albums. I think some bands
Yes.
don't want to do covers, and I get it. I completely get it. Like, I wouldn't, if I was in a band, I wouldn't want to do too many either. That's just my personal thinking. But if I was open to it, like, you couldn't really get much better than what they do with it.
Mhm.
So Newfound Glory, Sticks and Stones is my last. So my next one is Blink 182, Dude Ranch. They,
Oh my god.
Damn It was like such a big influence on me
Yep.
growing up.
That's the one I was gonna mention.
I actually probably got into like Good Charlotte and some of the other stuff because of Blink.
Doesn't the main vocalist in Blink 182, he's in another band, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's
Like,
not
he
with
has a
them
solution?
anymore, or at least
Oh,
for
okay.
right now. Tom, he's doing government stuff with aliens now, which is crazy.
Oh,
Everyone thought he was
Yeah.
crazy. Everyone thought he was crazy when he left, because he's like, honestly, at this point, if we're not doing the music I want to do, and we're keeping to that Blink kind of template, then
hmm
I really want to go pursue this and do my own music with Angels and Airwaves. So I can't blame him. And at the time, I probably did think he was a little kooky, but I mean, what artists aren't to a degree? And
Yeah.
then when he showed up and all these different files came out, and like classified stuff became unclassified, became declassified, and they saw how deep he got into it, in the sense of he really reached out to the right people, and he's doing it for the right reasons. You know, it's not just this. He's not just sitting there with like a tinfoil in his hat. He's actually working hand in hand with the government on the best way to get, disclosure of what's really going on without setting off world wars and panic attacks and stuff like that. But I would love to have him in here, man. Maybe by the 100th season of this, I could get one of them on here. I wouldn't even want to talk music. I just want to talk about what he's doing with To the Stars Academy, which is the one that's funding all this and doing all the government stuff. So that's pretty cool. And it's education, which is always should be the underlying theme of whatever you're doing, is to try and educate, or use your talents to help people. But okay, so Blink-182, Dude Ranch, and then my next one is Nirvana, Nevermind.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah, Kurt.
Yeah, I mean,
Kurt's my man.
those are definitely, like you said, some of them are a little bit older, but yeah, so it definitely brings back memories.
Like
That's for sure.
Yeah, these are the albums I grew up on from 8 to 15, like when I was most influenced by music, or 8 to 17 or whatever. So yeah, Nirvana, Nevermind. I mean, that's just a great album. And that really got me into rock music more, and that branched me out to like Red Hot Chili Peppers, even heavier music like Korn and Metallica. But like that whole like Incubus, Foo Fighters stuff, Linkin Park, all of that is
Linkin Park,
even 311, because 311 was more like a 90s rock band back then. They weren't, known in as much as they are like now, kind of in the reggae scene to a degree as well. But yeah, they were just, 311 is right up there. All these bands are kind of like classic bands. And then my last one's Sublime, self-titled.
Yep.
So it's just all those,
Fun.
yeah. I definitely heard 40 Ounces of Freedom and stuff, and I know, but I just think that when I was looking through all the songs, even though 40 Ounces of Freedom have just as good as songs for different reasons to me, I just think that the self-titled is iconic, and then you're going through all the songs, and it's just like hit after hit, or just good song after good song. So yeah, Green Day, 311, A Day to Remember, Coheed and Cambria, Newfound Glory, Blink-182, Nirvana, Sublime. Hey, are you thinking about starting your own podcast? Well, if you're listening to mine, I'm brand new to all this, and I couldn't have done it without Anchor. And if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. First off, it's free. No monthly fees, no yearly fees, no one-time fee. It's all free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And then Anchor distributes it automatically. So you'll be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I'm on all of them. And this is the catch. There's no minimum listenership. So I'm recording this ad right now. This is going into my episodes. Every time someone listens to it, I'm getting paid. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Oh my gosh, the worst thing that ever happened to me is I had a song that I sang in a dream.
And then you couldn't remember.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to remember this when I wake up. This is going to be phenomenal.
You talk to yourself in your sleep? That's pretty good. I can't.
Oh, I have
if I can
crazy.
I mean, I do
dreams.
and I don't.
I've had inception dreams before. I've had dreams but they're so vivid that I feel like they're real. I mean, yeah, I've had times where I'm like, I've had this dream before, and I'll tell, I'll be like, hey, I remember this happening. You guys, we need to do this instead. I've had them for a long time. It's like one of the first dreams I ever experienced, like that was actually when I was like 8 years old. And unfortunately, it was a bad dream. But I had this dream for a month straight.
What, now?
No, this happened when I was 8.
Oh, I thought you were like, well, I had it when I was 8, and now I've had it for a month now. I'm like, whoa.
Oh, no.
That's
when
freaky.
I was 8 years old, I had this dream for 1 month straight.
That's like a sign or some weird shit, But yeah.
It's crazy. But finally, I pretty much got to the point, because I kept waking up. Like, it's a nightmare. I'm 8 years old, and I'm terrified. Like, it's got a vampire in it. They're killing my family and all these things. I'm like, I don't want to sleep through this. I got to wake up. But finally, I told myself, look, it's not going to go away unless you sleep all the way through it. And I finally, pushed myself all the way through it. In the end, happy ending, my brother and I end up slaying this vampire, and everything goes back to normal kind of thing. I could really explain everything that happens in this story. It would take like a good 15-20 minutes, but
do it.
But yeah, there's that one. I've had a dream about zombies, like the apocalypse going on. I've had a few zombie dreams. There's one, I actually have it titled. It's called The Journey to Oolong Mountain. I've never read it.
You're saying that you had a dream?
Yeah, I had a dream. But
how did you know? What is this mountain? Was that made up?
So it's made up. Yeah, this is all. So like in this, it was an apocalypse dream, and in this one, zombies are starting to take over and all that. But there happened to be like this little secret the secret lab that was connected to our house. And my mother said, if anything ever happens to me, take your siblings, my youngest siblings, which at the time were probably like 5 and 6 years old, super young. Take them to this secret hideout. And so all of a sudden, we're all upstairs, and I hear my mom scream downstairs, and I knew that she got bit. So I was like, okay. I'm starting to cry, and I'm like, okay, boys, let's go. You guys gotta follow me. Come with me. They're like, what about mom? What about mom? I was like, it's okay. She'll be fine. And I'm like, trying not to bawl my eyes out in front of them. But go to this little secret layer or secret hideaway, and it's this lab that's trying to do research to find the cure to these zombies. And what happens is they have, have all their paperwork and all these things everywhere, this technology, and they ask, do you want something to drink? And, I'm just completely distraught. Like, my mind is not all there. So they just happen to bring me something, and it spilled on some of their paperwork. And all of a sudden there's this like blue light and all this like crazy noises are happening. I'm like, what just happened? And they're like, oh my gosh, it's the cure. You found the cure to this. Like, what? And they're like, what is this? And they're like, it's oolong tea. And I know, right? It's super crazy.
That's an awesome dream, though. I have some. Yeah, keep going.
No, but I mean, so what happens is throughout the whole dream, it's like the only place that you can go and get this is at the Oolong Mountains. So we had to go all the way from small town Minnesota, Mountain Lake, Minnesota, all the way to China
Minnesota.
to this mountain. Minnesota. Yeah, this is when I was living back home in
Do
Minnesota.
people talk like that? Minnesota.
Minnesota.
They don't talk like
A little
that?
bit, yeah.
Oh.
Not to the extent of Fargo, but we definitely have that O and the A, and you betcha is definitely a thing. I
I've
think
only
a
been
couple
there
of times
once.
you might catch me saying like "oh for sure." That's
For sure?
definitely me. Oh for sure.
Maybe I was doing kind of a Canadian accent there.
Oh
No.
yeah, when you get a lot more north, then you get a lot heavier. I used to live in Duluth, and Canadians Duluth is like an hour-ish away from the Canadian border, but we always had Canadians come down. And I was working retail up there, and it was so funny. A Canadian comes up to me and is asking about a shoe size. He's like, "You wouldn't happen to have this in a size 5, eh?" And I was like, "Don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh," because
Size 5, eh?
An A, yeah. They always add that little A at the end of there.
Oh,
How's it
yeah.
going, eh?
Mm-hmm.
What are you up to, eh? And so when he did that, I was like, just keep your composure. And I go to the back, and I'm just burst out laughing after that. I was like, I can't believe it. That was just awesome. Made my day. But
That's
yeah.
so cool. Have you seen Super Troopers 2?
No, I haven't. I've heard of I've
good.
heard of Super Troopers and all that.
I feel like people hate on it, but I love it. They have the same guys have the firefighter it's basically Super Troopers, but they're firemen.
Oh, okay.
It's on. I forget what it's called.
I have seen this.
And
yes.
it's just as hilarious, and it's on TV. They can't do the same stuff, but it's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's got most of the same characters, and if not, like some of them make guest appearances all the time.
Okay, so that came out about 2 years ago. Nice. I haven't seen the second one, but I've seen the first one.
So you're originally from Milwaukee, but then you moved down to Florida. Was it difficult for you being a solo female singer and moving to a place that you were unfamiliar with?
When it came to, moving down here in Florida, I ran into someone, but all they wanted was, they were like, "Oh yeah, I'll help you out. You just need to change your look, make yourself look a lot sexier. You got to do this and that for me." And I was like, "No, that's not happening." For me in general, I like doing my research. I just want to make sure that they're reliable. I want to see what they've worked with before, where it could be good and where it can be bad. Yeah, a girl could use her being as a female, she could use that to an advantage.
There's a lot of shitty humans is what it is. And now with the way just our society, and I don't really blame anyone. I blame technology, and I blame just how, the natural things.
Well, it's what gets
it's
put
your
out
environment,
there,
But I also think we've gone away from just morality and being a decent human being. You can feel how you want to feel, but I still feel like you can be a respectful in person and online. You can still have some tone. I notice that I'm very simple, and I don't explain a lot of things when I talk online. So I guarantee a lot of my shit comes off the wrong way. In fact, I know it does. And I truly don't mean it that way. And I never get the chance. That's why I like this podcast too, because I can kind of say that. And people are like, okay. So next time they see me say something like, okay, I know he doesn't mean it like that. I don't know. I stopped watching news. I stopped watching all this other stuff. I've really become a hermit to a degree, because it gives me so much anxiety. Like, even if I'm not involved in the situation, but I see someone fighting on Facebook, I get anxiety because I'm like, why are you fighting? I'm sure in the past I'm guilty of it, but it's just, in fact, I have seen, how they have the Facebook and it's like Time Hop or something like that, where it'll show your old posts. I'll go through and I'm like, man, that guy looks like such a douchebag. I'm like, oh wait, that was me 5 years ago. Shit. And I've seen it. I've seen myself do it, and I regret it. But we're all human, and that's why I've really come to a point where it's like I don't understand why people go out of their way to give someone else such a hard time, and especially when it's not even it's one-sided. You know what I mean? Like,
hmm
I hate the deal where it's like, I'm not even doing anything. I'm not talking negatively about you. I'm not even involved with whatever beef you have in your own head. And yet here it's sitting there costing me things. But at the same time, I'm so above that and it's so far in the past and below me. It's almost like a catch-22. Like I'm going to get screwed no matter what. Because people can't just be adults or human beings, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird. So is there anything that you're working on that you want to share with everyone?
What I've been working on right now, I have a song called Untitled
Mm-hmm.
that I've been trying to put together. This song specifically is about all of the things that I've gone through, like my things that go through my head,
Mm-hmm.
from, suffering from a lot of depression and just not understanding myself. Um,
Yeah.
and then just pretty much saying, every, the chorus, it goes, this girl, her mind took over her. She didn't know why. She was always hurt. She wanted to be happy. She couldn't find the reasons to smile. But this girl, she didn't know that everything was her worthwhile. So it's just pretty much just explaining that no matter what you go through, everything's going to be okay. So that one I've been working on. And then another one, which I have this one on Instagram. I have the verse and the chorus posted out on Instagram. It's Broken Mirror. And I've actually been working on this song since high school. And back then, when it was in high school, it sounded so different. Insecurities. But then it was different kinds of insecurities. It was trying to figure out who I was as a person.
Right.
Do I like somebody? Am I just going out of my way to please somebody else? Is pretty much what that song was at first.
Right.
But now it's more based off of, so for the longest time, actually, I'm getting a little bit personal here, but
No, that's okay. That's great.
I've been suffering from an eating disorder. So I've been anorexic, I've been bulimic, and everything else in between. So this song is just how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the first part of the song, I don't like what I see in front of me. These bones don't belong to me. Why can't I see what they see in me? So, just not understanding. Everyone says, oh, you're so beautiful. You have all this potential, this, that, one another. And I could never believe it. And so I'm still in the process of figuring out how I want to end it. If I want it to be positive, a lot of my songs are kind of Debbie Downers, not gonna lie.
Yeah, you're really depressing, to be honest with you.
I
You're
know.
a really difficult person to hang out with.
Yeah. No.
Couldn't wait to leave and come back to Maryland.
I know. Everyone's all like, can I just leave this person already? God. I'm kidding. Nah,
No, you would never know. You're such a uplifting and positive and sweet person.
I know. I love having fun with people. Like I'm always trying to make other people happy and all that jazz and be funny. It's fun to be funny.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't met a girl with a good humor since you're probably the most recent person. It's been
awesome.
a while.
I will take that. I will take that.
I think girls take that for granted. Being funny to me is hilarious. Like honestly, over looks by far. If a girl is hilarious, I will hang out with you.
Personality is a big thing for me too.
Yeah. I don't care what you look like. If you're hilarious, we're hanging out.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, I agree with you.
I used to be so funny too. I think I'm just a different person. I think as you get older, you get a little jaded. That just comes with time to a degree. But I'm still trying to find my kid again. And I feel like this year is like kind of on that path to not overthinking and not, worrying too much about the things that I've let get to me in the past. As I've gotten older. So I think we all go through things where it changes us, but then it's like, how can we get back to the point where you're most happiest, before that happened? And sometimes it takes time.
I had one of those moments not too long ago. I was like, why am I not feeling the same way I did when I was 16 or like 17, 18 years old and all that? Like, because I felt like those were the times I was like the most myself. I was confident. I was outgoing. I was able to speak to anybody and everybody. And then all of a sudden you get sucked back into a shell again. Your first podcast, I was listening to that yesterday, and yeah, they were saying that most of them do have other jobs to, not just music that they are working on. Like even myself, I mean, I'm working at a nurse staffing agency.
Yeah.
Very different from music.
Very different.
And it's a 9 to 5 job or an 8:30 to 5:30 job. So, it takes a lot of time out of the day, but at the same time, I still am able to go out and do music. In fact, after this, I'm going out for karaoke. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, shoot, I won't take you too long.
This is fun. We haven't talked in forever.
I know.
And
do you have anything else that you want to promote or talk about or have people check out?
definitely take a look at my Instagram page. That's where all of my, inspirations are shared, the things I'm working on.
Cool.
So that's miss.t.green. So definitely take a look at that. But that's all about I have. It was definitely great, being a part of your podcast. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to do this again sometime.
Yes, for sure. All right. Have a good one and enjoy karaoke.
I will, definitely.
Okay. See you later.
Yes, see ya.
Okay, thank you so much to Theresa for calling in. What a great conversation. Very different. I love that she opened up and was willing to kind of be vulnerable to a degree, because I don't think we do that enough. There's a lot of times where I have stuff on my mind that I won't say because I don't want to come off a certain way, or I don't want people to take it the wrong way. And then, you're always worried about what other people think instead of just saying what's on your mind or what's true. And being in the position that I am, and especially because I do want to help manage and do other things, and I want to have, job opportunities be available to me, I kind of hold back. I honestly hold back sometimes, and there's a lot of shit I want to say. So thank you so much to Theresa for coming in, and I can't wait to have her back. And I have about 6 episodes planned for this week and next week. So I'm fitting a lot of guests in, so I'm probably going to just be putting them out as they come in. So get ready for a lot of new guests and some more fun. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.